Hey guys, Von Fry here. So I am watching Jurassic Park alone this time. Hopefully not totally alone. Hopefully you guys are experiencing Jurassic Park with me, for it has been recently added to Netflix, and therefore it needs a commentary track, which I shall provide. So, 1993's Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Sam Neill, other people, dinosaurs. I'm going to give you some thoughts, behind the scenes expose kind of material here, stuff you probably know, but going to put my own unique little spin on it. Go ahead, cue it up, cycle back all the way to 0, and hit start now. Okay, so we have the famous, I believe it's late 80s style Universal logo. Man, I hated the change they went to. I think it was around 86 where it looked like a toy. An MCA company. You don't see that often much anymore. In the event that you hear some rattling sounds, that's the ice that's keeping my Mountain Dew chilled in my Yeti 30-ounce Rambler. I'm lock and loaded, baby. Amblin Entertainment. Great font here. Underrated font. The Jurassic Park font. I'm actually watching this with closed captions on so that in the event that I'm orating here, I don't completely lose track of the movie. It looks like Netflix's transfer is not amazing. I'm really quite disappointed with a lot of their additions this year. It'll say HD, but it's not really HD. If it says Super HD, then it's what HD should be, because then it actually has an appropriate bitrate. And I think the last time I watched this, sometime last summer, late last summer, I believe after Jurassic World, on the Sci-Fi Channel, it looked clearer than this. So here we go with the first gaffe of the movie. We have a forklift loading in a Velociraptor. So there's the old Velociraptor Pit. I always wondered how far deep down that went. In the Super Nintendo game, I think you actually explore the area. I rented the game. I didn't play for it long enough to get there. I played the Sega Genesis game. A friend of mine owned it, and it kind of kicked our ass back in the day. Okay, so these guys are pushing, but we have heavy machinery moving it. Do we really need a team of people doing any of this stuff? Isn't that what machines are for? Theatrical smoke. I sure miss the look of that stuff. Too bad it's considered toxic now and banned throughout. That's why today's movies look so flat, and they had to introduce 3D to try to give them some kind of depth. Gatekeeper. Why is there a gatekeeper? Why don't they have a crane doing this? And then, of course, as everyone jokes, the first guy to die is black, because that's the way Steven Spielberg rolls. Oh, but it's not racist if it's Spielberg. Yeah. Would a raptor attack like this? I mean, it's raising the guy up. I would think that if he's being bitten into now, he'd already be dead. Of course, we have the extreme close-ups here. The extreme close-ups provided by animatronic. Stan Winston's animatronics here, they don't entirely hold up, honestly. Throughout this, you'll notice that some of the worst dated effects in here are actually the animatronics. Yeah, I know. I used to be so hardcore on the make sure it's physical, it's real. You can't get more real than something that's actually there. But in some ways, you have to look at the animation perspective of it. Here's our lawyer. Never fully understood what was going on here, so maybe I'll try to pay attention here. Hammond's got a lawsuit. He's a very rich guy. I know he's looking for investors on this park. But I was under the impression he was kind of Bill Gates rich, or maybe at least, Virgin Atlantic. These guys have a dig site. I believe that they're digging for the amber that has the concealed mosquitoes that they extract the dino DNA from. So we have to get 2 experts to sign off on, hey, the island's great. You have my endorsement. I'm a dinosaur expert, though I've never seen a living dinosaur before. I'm a dino expert. And then the insurance companies back off. So that's part of why they have the little trial run. They say, who are we going to get? We're going to get Dr. Grant. This reminds me of Indiana Jones, the music here. It's like they found the Holy Grail. They found the Ark of the Covenant. Maybe there's a sense of the expedition and the dig, reoccurring themes in Spielberg movies. Now here we are with a remarkably well-placed Velociraptor skeleton. I don't believe they actually die in these kind of patterns, like the bones end up shifting around a great deal over the course of time. Because the Earth it's got plates that are moving around. Like there's activity that occurs. They get washed around, whatever. Laura Dern, deceptively young here. I think she's like 27. Man, I always figured she was late 30s. And here I am watching this, and she's a bit younger than I am. And honestly, too young for Sam Neill. Ground penetrating radar, bounce back the images. Oh, hey, look, we found another one. Let's dig over here. Not entirely sure who the onlookers are. It's kind of like, are they on vacation? Are they volunteers? Are they part of the team? If they're part of the team, then what's that little kid doing there who then starts questioning Grant? And then he has to try to explain to him how the raptors work. So I'm guessing maybe they're tourists. Dinosaurs can't fly. No, it's true. The dinosaurs, they turned into birds. They have so much in common with birds and not reptiles. And now people say, oh, surely they had feathers. But I disagree with this. There's no way to be certain that the dinosaurs did or did not have feathers. And though aesthetically I prefer that they look like reptiles, this evidence that they have feathers is more wishy-washy than anything else. And a lot of times with scientists, it's like, I have a theory, you need to give me some money for a grant. I'll cook up something to prove it. Like this latest crap, these MIT people, just the other day saying, oh, hey, Super Mario World, or Super Mario Brothers, has the complex nature beyond the toughest logic questions. So much mental activity taking place to win in Super Mario Brothers. Have these assholes not played Battletoads? I mean, I've beaten Battletoads. What, have 10 people done that? I should put that on my damn resume. So here we are. There's the Talon, retractable claw. It could gut you, kid. Surely you're just a tourist, and that's why you have these questions for me. The human cast has to be excellent in this to pull off acting in front of not only animatronic creatures, but the unknown territory of acting and reacting to the unseen creatures created by CGI in this film. It's something that like actors have to deal with today, and they expect to be trained in how to handle it, but it's not something that they used to do. So they're in uncharted territory, and I thought they fared pretty well here. The kids, Lexi and Tim, I mean, they manage, don't they? I've seen worse kids. Hell, the Jurassic World kids are way more useless than Lexi and Tim. And this is like at the tail end of the kids need to be in every movie phenomenon, where it was like, well, kids are going to be interested in the dinosaurs. We need to have some way to have the dinosaurs in it. So here we go. Or we have to have the kids interact with the dinosaurs in some way because the kids are going to see the movie through their eyes. And in seeing this in theaters in 93, there wasn't a whole lot I recalled from that particular experience, but it just kind of seems like that. Okay, now I mean, like, here's a weird spot. The helicopter landed. What's Richard Attenborough doing at his fridge already? Like, this old guy beat Grant running to his, like, trailer? His double wide. And he's here saying, oh, we're going to celebrate. I don't care that you were saving this wine. It doesn't matter because I'm going to fund your expedition for, 3-4 more years? As a kid watched this in theaters, I didn't understand what the heck the adults are talking about. Like, this must be the archetype movie that J.J. Abrams watched and said, for now on, all my movies are going to be like the beginning of Jurassic Park. People are going to have to watch it several times to pick up on all the plot points because it's going to come so fast and loose, no one's going to be able to piece it together. And already in this film, we've had a lot of information, this barrage come at us that we're trying to digest. Particularly at this time, movies were much slower. And this movie made, I don't remember the figure, but it actually surpassed E.T. on the worldwide market. So at the time, it just seemed as though everybody said Star Wars was the #1 movie ever. And that wasn't dethroned until Titanic. But when they say that, they're really talking about the North America domestic gross. In reality, I think the worldwide gross is more important. So for people to say, yeah, E.T. made a lot of money, but then this comes along, no one was saying the biggest movie ever made. They weren't saying that. But believe you and me, 1993 summer, this was dominant. You could not turn your head in a bathroom without finding something about Jurassic Park. It was insane. I think movies back then were marketed up a lot more than they are today. Jurassic Park, Terminator 2, Batman. I mean, these were the most heavily marketed films I personally had seen in my time, in my youth. Today, they want to hit that first week, maybe week 2, and then they basically pull the commercials. You don't see the branding everywhere in the same way. The branding is more specific to the geeks, the geeksploitation, as I coined it. And if you haven't heard me use that term before, you have now. All right, let's look for another goof. This guy here, I think just a year or two ago, gone to prison for like it's either child porn or sexual abuse of a kid or something like that. But this guy, he appeared in some movies, this being like, I guess his biggest. And now he's gone. So there's Newman. And there's some inconsistencies with the editing here regarding Newman. I think it ends up all over the place. Like, you watch the food that's set out before Newman here. Dodson. We got Dodson over here. Yeah, nobody cares. Nice hat. Okay, so we're holding this bag. Got some money for you. 1.5 million, you get all 15 embryos off the island. And so this guy's whole thing is that he's smuggling these dino embryos in this Barbasol can. And it's actually whipped cream. Or did he say it was shaving cream? He puts it on a pie. It's actually really cool spy stuff. See, I think it's actually shaving cream. So, rival company wants the dinos. And who do they go to? Belligerent, kind of unpaid computer dude. Oh, look, a real helicopter. How long do you... God, I miss real helicopters in movies. You're going to hear me say that every time I see a real helicopter. So, here we are. Dinosaurs, huh? Hey, I'm Malkin. I didn't recall his character when I really first saw this in theaters. It was just like, who's the guy with the jacket? Like, he had the coolest looking action figure. We thought he was cool for that. But then looking back at it as like an adult, you realize that Jeff Goldblum's really got like the better lines. Like, he's so much more quotable than most anybody else here. Well, maybe aside from maybe Sam Jackson, who a lot of people don't even realize is in this. But he had a good catchphrase in the 90s. Hold on to your butts. So this is the mathematician guy. It doesn't totally make sense that they went and got him, not being paleontologists. And I mean, how boring of a job does Laura Dern's character, Ellie, right? I forgot the doctor name there, but now there's a phrase that I didn't understand until like a year ago. I bring the scientist, you bring the rock star. And that was some in theaters. I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, he's becoming a rock star. This guy is a rock star. Like, so he plays music. Is that why he's got leather? Like, I mean, it kind of went over my head like that. Beautiful shots here. Helicopter coming in. It would all be CGI today. No practical helicopters. Sometimes John Williams overdoes it with the music. There are certainly times where it seems like the music is trying so much harder to convey the emotions than the visuals or anybody's acting. So like everybody's getting their whole sense of the movie through the music. It's not always like that in this movie though. Like, hey, helicopter. It's coming to this tropical island. I mean, that gives you a certain sense there. Here we see Alan Grant makeshift. He's like, oh, my seatbelt doesn't work? I can fix it. I can fix the seatbelt. Now the helicopter might finally land on the ground. We got our Jeeps waiting by here. Take note, Jeep Wranglers, I believe these are Wranglers at this time, are four-wheel drive. It's kind of what you need in this circumstance. These helicopter blades are up so high, there's really no reason to be ducking. It's just no one wants to get their head cut off. I like the defiant Richard Attenborough here, though. He knows his helicopter. Like, it's not his first time in his helicopter. That kind of level of ownership in a character helps establish the world for them. So he's used to being in a helicopter. He knows he doesn't need a duck. Of course, if you blatantly state this, he walks out, oh, there's no need to duck. This is my helicopter. It's never cut my off. That's crappy. You know, let a few things be a little subtle. Show it, don't tell it. It is a visual medium. Here we are in our Jeeps. You know, if you want to go hardcore safari mode, they could just lower the windshields. That's a feature they're removing on the new Jeeps coming out. I think the 2017, it's losing the foldable windshield. Lawyers talking about investors, insurance companies, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, come on, just enjoy the time here. In 48 hours, I'll be accepting your apologies. No, you won't, because he dies. Oh, spoilers. Hey, you shouldn't be watching a commentary track film if you haven't seen it before. But hey, I don't make the rules. Here we are, America's first taste of CGI dino. In the distance, this looks pretty good. If I recall correctly. Yank her head around. Oh, you can't lay your hands on a woman like that anymore. Social justice warriors. It's not so bad, you know? It's not overkill. Now, they had a pretty tough time actually trying to track the motion with the camera moving. This stuff is so much easier to pull off if the camera is static. But to have the camera move around, they have to like set up all these little golf ball points to try to understand where its relationship's going to be in the composite. How can you tell it's warm-blooded? Do we have any proof that a Brachiosaurus does that or could do that? Get back up on the rear legs. And when it comes down, there's a nice shake. I like the slowness of the fall there. It gives it some kind of perspective. But shouldn't that kind of shake the ground, like in relation to the actors? Like they got a little wobbly, like they were on the bridge of the Enterprise. You know, not quite that bad, but... Okay, so here we are talking about, yeah, we got a T-Rex. Oh my god, you got a T-Rex? I'm weak in the knees. Welcome to Jurassic Park. That is a trailer line if ever there was. If you are taking, okay, if you're struggling actor, actress out there, what you want is you want to be the person who sets up the exposition in the movie in like 2-3 words so that you can be in the trailer and the TV spot. Now, see those dinosaurs in front of the Brachiosaurus? We never see those again. Those kind of iguana-looking suckers. I thought they were a cool dinosaur. Never see them in any Jurassic Park. Aside from right here. Just kind of gathering at the water. To have that kind of layer of distortion between, our characters are looking out at them at a distance. It's hazy. Yeah, that helps with the illusion. Here's our visitor center. Now, I went to Universal Islands of Adventure in 2003, March 2003, on a school trip, and they had this kind of stuff set up. You know, you had like the visitor center. I don't think it was the actual real McCoy, but they have the door to Jurassic Park. They have the Ford Explorer set up over there. It was a nice experience. So you can see they're finishing things up. So this is as maiden of a voyage as they can get here. Now you need to, of course, explain to the audience why there are dinosaurs in 1993. Luckily, our experts, and I'm using the Dr. Evil air quote fingers here, need to be filled in also. So we get to learn along with them. That's why you always bring along somebody green, some newbie who needs to be told some data. That way you have a reason to explain it to the crowd. Now, look, is Hammond here going to be like at every one of these tours so that he can act out this part? Maybe not. I mean, with the amount of traffic they were expecting, I would sure hope not. But maybe he just did this for his special investor tour. Like maybe everybody else gets a kind of a skimmed down version of this. Now everybody's a DNA expert. Nice animation here for Mr. DNA. I think they brought him back in some way in Jurassic World. It's got that nice kind of PBS learning show kind of thing going, doesn't it? Here we go. Mosquito bites dinosaur, lands on tree sap, encases it. We dig it up, and then we hope it contains dinosaur blood. But how many more times are they finding monkeys? You know, okay, we got our big program going. Okay, well, what have we made? We made a gorilla. Ta-da! Now, the one he's got in his cane, of course, I think it's encased in acrylic and all this stuff for, prop purposes. Looks like quite a nifty cane, doesn't it? Has anybody ever cosplayed this? Like, hey, I'm the Jurassic Park guy. I've got my cane, a beard, look a little bit like Santa Claus. Santa Claus if he went on like a tropical vacation. "2 years to look at the strand." How long does it take anymore? As you know, they had that circumstance where they said, "Oh, we sequenced all the human DNA, whatever." Oh, virtual reality. This must be really advanced stuff. We have to have a visor to protect us from the backsplash. This is actually a big part of the plot right here that just gets pushed in real quick. There's a little bit of a dinosaur sequence gap. We just plug it in with some frogs, and there we go. We got a dinosaur. So he's, excited about his video, but then in addition to that, this actually moves and takes you through the lab. There's B.D. Wong. We'll be talking to him in a little bit. And then I like that he came back for Jurassic World, because then it has the tie-in. Like, at least there's one character from the original. A surviving character that we hadn't really seen much before. And we start to see, there wasn't really a character for him in this one. Like, he works over here. Was he necessarily, the team leader with the scientists? I'm not sure. But he becomes the leader, and he has a dark side, too. Of course, this being the special tour, they get privileges such as access to the lab. We all need lab coats, but our faces are not protected because, well, we're actors and we want to be on camera. Okay, guys. Animatronics not quite holding up. You are about to bear witness. Yeah, I think those look like eggs. Eggs enough, right? We know what eggs look like. We can infer what a dinosaur egg looks like. Now, as this... what is this? Velociraptor. It breaks out, and maybe in the early stages of cracking the egg, looks fine enough. But these things need to be a little bit more lively. And you're going to see that it looks fairly stiff. It looks like a puppet. I mean, reptiles have a kind of a tougher skin? They may not be able to emote as much as some, a person, but you can see like the way the nose, the lips snarl up, and all these kind of things, the tongue movement, all those little intricacies you get in the newer film. That though the textures don't entirely look real, at least it has the movement looking more authentic, I would believe. Okay, so all of the dinosaurs are women, so that they can't breed. You guys knew that already, I'm sure. Don't touch the egg. How exactly do you control the chromosomes? Like, is this an injection? I mean, it's one thing to understand how it works, but how do you really implement some of this stuff? Here comes Malcolm, the naysayer. I don't like what you're doing. There's some kind of problem with this. It's not natural. Life will find a way. Jeff Goldblum has that nice little pause. Like, it's not quite as distracting as a Shatner pause, but it's there. It tells you he's thinking up the line. It's not like it's something that is rehearsed so much. It's a nice little nuance. You don't need actors, the characters in the film, seeming like they know what each other's going to say, like they have practiced it. Gourmet chef Alejandro is prepared to... Oh, no, I want to watch the raptors eat. Well, okay. Really quite a splendid process. The cow goes in, and it does not come out. Of course, these particular people are going to want to see the raptors eat the cow. That's how they get down. It's not something that's necessarily going to be on the tour, for the kids to view. But I think this is something you don't necessarily have these people shy away from. Yeah, I wonder what Hammond's looking for there. He's like, maybe they kind of like the eating part. Maybe I'll include that on the tour. There's our Wrangler. So he's sort of there as like Captain Badass. Like, when stuff gets bad, don't worry. I'm your layer of protection. So they got this big one in here that has the, bitch gene? The alpha bitch? They couldn't alter those chromosomes? Testing the fences for weaknesses. I guess they don't need to test those weaknesses anymore since they all remembered the whole fence is electric. Now we got some food for you. Does that really look bad? Like, does that food look off-putting? Like, it looks fine to me. So we're going to have more rides. You have to have some rides, of course. I guess maybe if you looked carefully at those slides, you might see some stuff that gets implemented in Jurassic World. Still very tough for me to call that movie Jurassic World. As it's just your whole life. The words Jurassic and Park have come together with that kind of precision. It's hard to put something else there. Pessimistic Dr. Malcolm at your service. Now, lawyer, calm down. We have guests here. Let him talk. You're playing God. I'll tell you the problem is it didn't require any discipline to attain. You read what others had done, and you took that knowledge. Our scientists have done things which nobody's saying. Yeah, but your scientists, they were preoccupied. They didn't stop to think if they should. That's different. Condors, what's he say here? They weren't pushed. Dinosaurs, they weren't pushed out through deforestation, right? Or the building of a dam. They had their shot, and nature selected them for extinction. So it's against nature to bring back something that nature has taken away. Is that maybe why they get violent? Like they went against nature, and now nature is taking its revenge on the people. Like if, as sort of a subtext goes there, but, of course, logically it's Newman screwed them over. Turn off the power that allowed everything to get out. Dinosaurs and man, species separated by 65 million years of evolution, have just suddenly thrown back into the mix together. Sam Neill, I believe he's from Australia. I don't believe he's particularly playing an American here. He seems to be sporting the American accent, but it's not required that he's American, I don't believe. Though I've seen him in commercials for Cox Cable just a couple years ago, and he was speaking like he is here. Oh, hey, kids, you brought kids here? Oh, yeah, they're my grandkids. Target demo here. We want to see what the kids think of the rides. Well, the tour. Grant's character is put off by children, I guess because Ellie's like, oh, hey, clock's ticking. I need to get some buns in the oven. And he's like, oh, I don't know about that. No headrests. You can't have headrests in a movie car because it gets in the way. A touchscreen that actually works. Man, I remember seeing touchscreens at like play areas in McDonald's around this time, and they didn't work for crap. Having a screen, like a TV in a car, was like a huge deal back at this time. Throughout the 90s, if your car had a TV in it or a screen, even it's at the end of the 90s when they started putting them in headrests, it was like the ultimate luxury item. Look, there's a monitor down below, too. So here's Tim falling around Grant. Hey, I read your book, but this other guy disagrees with you. And, well, so his philosophy, but I want to know what you think about that. I feel like I understand the kids in this movie much better than the ones in Jurassic World. Like, you have that kid who's afraid of everything. It's kind of like, why? Like, that's your character is, I'm afraid of everything. Then you have the other one, obsessed with his girlfriend, right? Like, he's like texting his girlfriend when he should be looking at dinosaurs. But he also spends all of his other free time hitting on every girl around him. So is he into his girlfriend or not? Like, doesn't make him likable. And that kid was in Cox cable commercials also, part of the family. His character's name's Tyler. And, like, the dad was goofy. He's like, oh, hey, Tyler, check it out. I'm streaming using Cox Cable. Samuel L. Jackson. He might be seated during the whole time. Well, no, he gets up to go turn some power on and manages not to, but there's the hold on your butts. Yep, I have seen at least one of those Ford Explorers. Looks like it's done up for some pretty serious off-roading for a vehicle that's on a track. Look at that, it's got like dual cameras set up. So it's kind of like Subaru's eyesight technology. Is it going to automatically brake if something gets in the way? There's the famous doors. I think in the Jurassic World trailer there was some brouhaha over the doors being CGI. I can't recall what ended up happening. Like the doors are majestic in this movie. In Jurassic World, it's just another thing. Spared no expense. Yeah, wants to really show off all the attention to detail, all the stuff put into this. The Dilophosaurus, the no-show. Why is it a no-show? Well, so that it doesn't totally ruin its reveal when it zaps Newman. Also, it's a bit easier to just say the dinosaurs didn't show up than to actually do your work and have dinosaurs in the scene and make it take a lot longer and put the movie over budget. So there's that to consider. And I like that line that Malcolm has at some point here. There's going to be dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour. Hello? So we have a few glitches. Yeah, but when Pirates of the Caribbean broke down, the pirates didn't start killing the audience or the tourists or something on the ride. You guys don't appreciate me. Look, I'm a total slob. I weigh well over 300 pounds. I've got a mess all over my desk here. Why not hire more programmers? I think at this time it was harder to get a programmer. It was like a special skill. Now everybody's on the internet. Everybody has a smartphone. Therefore, everybody is a geek. Oh, hey, I have so much technology on me. I guess I'm a geek. Now I'm interested in this stuff. And yeah, I do a little bit of coding on the side. Samuel Jackson's like, yeah, I can debug too. They're approaching the Tyrannosaur paddock. The geography of this, confusing. Those are trees. I assume they're on the ground. They have to go up, right? Like, how tall is the T-Rex supposed to be that it could walk over there and be seen at all from these vehicles? Because that's obviously a cliff. $10,000 volts. I can't remember, but I think it might have been that it's the amperage that's dangerous and not the volts. Don't quote me on that, okay? God creates man, man creates dinosaurs, man destroys God. Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth. So her character's angle is, I'm a strong woman, kind of deal before that was the MO for every movie. So she has like her little joke there. She can do a few things. There is a part where that gets to be a little bit grating when the power goes out. I'll bring it up later. What? They're going to eat the goat? I'm a vegetarian. Had the phrase vegan been invented yet? She probably would have been a vegan if that was the case. Grant's over here telling us how the T-Rex wants to hunt and doesn't just want its food served to it. I don't think it would be that picky. So they actually leave the goat out there this whole time because they come back at night and it's still there. There's dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right? Hello? Hello? Yes? Malcolm is good for the comic relief. So many movies now are dry, bone to bone. Here's the part where I hit on your woman. Though it's kind of wishy-washy if you guys are even dating or not. Okay, so here's his chaos theory. That they're not going to be able to predict where the water is going to drop on her hand. And this will somehow justify that dinosaurs get to become male and then they're going to lay eggs. Even though the talk of the frog DNA maybe has more to do with it than just general chaos, blanket statement like that. This is the move I use to touch girls' hands a lot. And doesn't he say at some point here that he's always looking for a future ex Malcolm? No one could have predicted that Dr. Grant would suddenly jump out of a moving vehicle. Alan? And there's another example. And now I'm talking to myself. We need locking mechanisms on the doors. Now they have is it a tropical storm, gets upgraded to hurricane, something like that on approach. He's looking for his opening. Crafty Newman. Tim, talkative Tim. Does he put on that bandana wrapped around like the around the neck? Does he do that to emulate Grant? I'm not certain about that. Might want to, when you look at this again, see if he has that on prior to meeting Grant. Excellent animatronics here. Now this holds up. You're not going to find a better sick Triceratops, period. It's not going to look better with computer. It's simply not going to work as well. This is the real textures, all that stuff. The jerkiness works because it's ailing. If this thing was healthy, we wouldn't expect it to be as jerky as this. The eyes look excellent. Everything top notch right here. But, looking back at it, you're thinking, this is the only way this could go down. Because if this thing was up on its feet or there was another one next to it, anything else, they would not be able to pull it off convincingly. You'd have one of them that looked great practically, and then you have another one that looked a little bit different computer. I think that because this works, that's why the only animatronic dino, the only practical dino in all of Jurassic World is also one that is in its death throes. Recently some people found photo Spielberg sitting here with the puppet, and they're like, I can't believe that jerk killed that dinosaur, because it looks kind of like maybe he was hunting, like it was a trophy. I think they edit this down on TV. The sifting through the dino droppings. Just because it has this gross out effect. And there were spots, I'm sure there's an extended cut of Jurassic World, but I haven't seen it. Don't really too much care to, but though I thought the movie was all right, you see in the TV spot at least that there's a part where Bryce Dallas Howard's character puts it's either mud or dino droppings all over her. Like, I'm tough, I can blend in. Yeah, I'll do what it takes. And so she gets herself all muddied up, and that's not in the movie. Foiled by weather. Of course, they don't want to say shit on basic cable, before 9 o'clock. So I think that's part of why they edit this down. Thankfully, we had some massive gloves here. How crappy of a job is it to be the ancient plant expert? Kids want to research the dinosaurs. There's something majestic about that. Is there anything majestic in extinct plants? The only way to make any money with that is to just find people to leech grant money off of. Oh, he's got an apple. Kind of. No, I don't believe that Newman just ordered the Thunderstrike. Stay with her a little longer. You guys go ahead without me. We'll be all right. Yeah, okay. I've got a Jeep. It's all right. Stock footage doesn't quite match in high definition. And of course, I even pegged this back in the day. He's talking to a guy live, right? Video call. Video calls are really cool in 1993. They don't have a way of knowing when the time is going to run out on the video call, so there shouldn't be that bar there. Did they not have any kind of experts that could have found some way to get around that? I mean, it's pretty easy to do today, right? Like, surely there was a way back then, even with a less complex user interface. Hey, I'm going to the vending machines, and yeah, I'm not a very good liar. I'm just going to kind of ramble like this, and I'm not really up to anything. But yeah, so I'm going to keep talking, and yeah, I'm going to leave. Okay, bye. Debug the phones. Did they possibly just throw around the debugging word because that was like cool hacker terminology? Lexi calls herself a hacker. I mean, you could be into computers. You're not necessarily a hacker, right? Okay, here comes that line. I'm always on the lookout for a future ex Mrs. Malcolm. You know, I do occasionally say, hey, future ex-wife. It's a great way to hit on chicks because you don't come across as totally sleazy, and it's so fanciful that it's not like threatening in any way. Oh, hey, this is my future ex-wife over here. You want to get that kind of laugh in there also. It's funny. You guys have my permission to use that at a bar or wherever you talk to girls. Works online too. You don't believe me? Check out my Instagram account. I've got supermodels from Sports Illustrated, the swimsuit issue, following me. Barbasol can of wonder. Anybody cosplay that Barbasol can? Collecting all your embryos. Of course, this lab is set up so that it looks good on camera, isn't it? I mean, realistically, do you want... I mean, if the tourists are not looking at it, does it need to be that cool? Dr. Sattler, that's her name. Yeah, was she available? Oh, you two are... Oh, my bad, yeah. Car stops all of a sudden. Did you touch anything? What the hell happened? The fences are failing everywhere. Dr. Nedry, check in. Punch through, not quite punch through, but okay, whatever. Samuel Jackson, at your service. It's the you didn't say the magic word. Not quite, I guess, huh? Glass is fogging up something fierce over here. Spins out, hits a sign. Gets confused about which direction to go. I think that some of the stuff he's talking about while typing it doesn't quite match together. Now, did he really put together this like GIF over here, this animation? Well, it's got sound too. What is this, a YTMND kind of deal? There's our goat. Dr. Grant, not good with kids. He messes with the boy earlier. Doesn't want to be around these kids. Didn't check in on the kids. Ends up having to grow as a character and become the father figure. Lawyer there, concerned about costs. Those look expensive. They're probably expensive. They heavy? Yep, they're expensive. Night vision goggles. This scene here made night vision goggles pretty cool. I never was down for that. I'm going to pass you my water, you take a drink kind of thing. That your mouth touched it, my mouth isn't. Tim with the supersonic hearing. Yeah, that's the sound of the power trying to turn back on. Goat missing, because if we actually saw the goat getting snatched up, that would be expensive. Where's the goat? Slap. We got just kind of a puppet claw right there. Now look at this. The T-Rex is way up over the stuff. I don't understand the geography here. Like, it looks hella deep when they send the Explorer off the side, too. So the T-Rex looked like it was kind of below the fence in some way, peering up over it. But then it gets straight up level with it. Like there's a platform next to it that it can walk up. In some ways, this builds tension. Like Jaws, we're not seeing the creature manipulate this stuff. We're seeing the effect of it. So a lot of bending. And now here it comes through. Look. It seems to be up above the fence. And this looks excellent still. The rain helps filter out that doesn't quite look real moments. This is excellent. Excellent stuff. CGI in the rain, Jurassic Park. That's about the high point for CGI, really. Like, has CGI looked better since this scene? Now there's animatronic right there. You can tell a little bit of a difference. Now it's CGI walking towards. So they just kind of switch between the two right there. You got a animatronic head that's gonna hear Tim shut the door. Animatronic head leering over the kids. And a good deal of this is animatronics. And, it looks fine, but I'm just saying the articulation's kind of missing. Yeah, the eye looks great. The animatronic eye is awesome, but is there a possibility its mouth could be moving more than it is? Like, in some ways, it's got a robotic jerkiness. A stiff mouth. It's hard not to notice anymore. These kids panic, and it's, pretty believable. It's an intense moment for them. They look like they're in peril. I'm sure those are adult stunt doubles with the hands and the feet kicking in the glass there. Holding up the glass between the T-Rex there. Some guys they're just going to chill and just kind of watch this go down. There's a cable that rolls the Explorer, and then the cable disappears for the next shot. How convenient. CGI chowing down on it, but then when we get a closer look at it, we have animatronic eating the tire. The consistency of having it been all CGI probably would have been better, because then you wouldn't be able to tell when it flips between the two, because there wouldn't be a flip. This is a well played out scene here. Like, now they're getting crushed into the mud below. Like, are we going to be eaten? Are we going to be crushed? What are we getting here? Grant comes out here, has a Marvel idea. Throw the flare. It's working, it's working, it's working. But hey, I want to be a hero too. I'm holding a flare. I'm going to run with it also. This looks pretty good. It's pretty good dino effects here. It's hitting the water. Throws the flare, does not want the flare, goes after the human. This is a little strange. Throws Malcolm, kind of, into the toilet, which I guess the toilet's there so you have access if they don't want you messing in the ride, I guess, so that's why they don't lock the doors. And then he gets eaten. And that looks pretty nice. Like, that CGI guy getting eaten in 1993 looks honestly more convincing than CGI with the guy getting eaten now in Jurassic World, right? Okay, Tim's stuck. Lexi, need you to calm down. Step in the mud. Look how close the T-Rex gets just suddenly. For the convenience of, we can't really wheel up the puppet. Like the animatronic, the legs need to stay here. It's just bearing down on them. It's a bit weird. And now we're playing with the Explorer here. This scene, originally they had approached Phil Tippett about doing a go motion effect for this. Like, the go motion stuff worked out good in Dragon Slayer. And I guess I don't fully understand the go motion stuff. It has something to do with, stop motion, but then you blur the frames between You maybe smudge the lens and then unsmear it with Vaseline, whatever, and that gives you a motion blur. But and then there's also talk of Go Motion being the live capture version of stop animation without the stopping, just the puppet in Alien 3 manipulating it in real time and then putting the composite together. And a lot of people thought that was CGI, but it wasn't, and they were calling that Go Motion also, even though that didn't involve stop animation. Now the Ford Explorer here does look kind of fake. It's not the super most convincing, but look at that's what, 50 feet? The T-Rex, how did it get up there? What the heck? Point I'm getting to, though, is they have Dennis Muren over at Industrial Light and Magic, pioneer of the CGI effects, Terminator 2, and he puts together his proposal to have this done with all CGI. Phil Tippett sees it, and he's like, well, it looks like I just became extinct. Steven Spielberg repurposes that dialogue they had, puts it in the movie, you know, because who wants someone to dig up dinosaurs if there are live dinosaurs? And by dig them up, I mean fossils. Fossils, not as cool as living. Okay, Captain Badass, I need you to put together a plan to rescue my kids, and I'm going with them because I'm action chick. The captions there just miscredited Samuel L. Jackson as Nedry. Dennis Nedry, that being Newman. Look at this. Is he just the world's most terrible driver? What is he? Is he like Laurie from The Walking Dead? Like you're the only person on the road and you crash? He's so damn close, too. He managed to actually go the right direction. He doesn't need this winch. He has four-wheel drive in his four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler. Nice little slip and slide right there. Losing the glasses. You know, you're witnessing the dinosaurs more often through, like, the biomechanic breakdown of here comes a foot, here's a claw, rustling in the leaves kind of stuff. It's cheaper. In some ways, it does build suspense, though. Here we have a head poking out. What? Just a puppet head just kind of poking out behind a tree. Now, this not being caged, or did he crash through the cage area? Like, he hit a fence, but yeah, I'm not really sure the extent of the protection barrier there. I like the curious crook in its head. Kind of checking them out. Of course, this works because the dinosaur is standing still. As long as the legs are not moving, you can achieve stuff with the puppets. Oh yeah, it'll turn and look, but it's not actually going to walk away. Of course, it moves when it's out of view of the camera. Oh, now it's right up by him. Isn't that convenient? Aggressive. And I wasn't really sure what was the deal with the substance here. Like, it's a paralysis kind of thing, isn't it? Like, how could they have known? I mean, I guess in testing, once they have one of these on hand. Got a little bonk there as he hits his head comically. loses the magical Barbasol can. And it's inside. So you didn't actually have to see the Dilophosaurus change position in with its legs. The Barbasol can getting drowned out in the mud there. It's symbolizing his defeat. Grant washes off. Hardly. Got to go up in the tree, get your brother. And of course, they make an action scene out of this, too. She's freaking out about the lawyer leaving him. I don't even think that the audience recalled that so much. Like, was it that big of a deal? No one in the audience cared about the lawyer. Tim is resilient. He survived some hairy stuff in this movie. Sam Neill here. What is he? Early 40s? I mean, I don't want to sound like that guy, but are most early 40s guys able to climb a tree like this? Especially if paleontologists. Am I saying that right? Is it paleontologists for the dinosaurs? I threw up in the car. Oh, well, I don't think anybody's really too concerned about that. It looks like that's not the only damage done to the ride. I won't tell anybody you barfed. So Tim's a little scared. Understandable. Now here's the thing. If you don't want the Ford Explorer to fall on your noggin, maybe you should go, I don't know, left or right. Kind of get out of the path. There are other branches on this tree, right? Like, you don't have to go just down. But no, this makes a little action sequence. Would this suffice for an action sequence today? Like, in the 80s, it was enough to have a car chase and some gunplay. But now, there needs to be building exploding explosions, and a whole city needs to be destroyed. And that's the action sequence for every movie now. And we're still in the car. That's nicely done. I guess you never really see how they did this scene, but I'm thinking, they shot it twice, a version with and without that car being there. But it's neat how they reside under the sunroof, which is massive. They got that big canopy for looking out. I like the way the light beams cut through here. Really cool. Captain Badass, we need your help. Yep, found the lawyer. So they found him in pieces is the idea, but we don't really see the pieces now, do we? How weird is it that Malcolm is launched and kind of tossed neatly on his side? A little bloody. Remind me to thank John for the lovely weekend. Looking for clues. Now, how did they get over here? So they look down the cliff, and they're there. So, yeah, I mean, did they repel and then I guess come back up? Maybe there's a walkway we didn't see. We got Malcolm here to witness the approach of the T-Rex. So he's like, it's doing it again, guys. Come on. Okay, so they're coming back. But where are they? Like, they're not actually up. It seemed like they were, that Malcolm was next to where all the carnage took place. And now they're on the ground where the Ford Explorer ended up after it got out of the tree. You know, faster, must go faster. He used that line again in Independence Day. This looks very nice also, even without the rain. Smack up against the side. I like that. You know, this is pretty exciting. It's just a linear chase, and, you know, there's a little bit of debris for the T-Rex to hit that I don't think it has the power to smash through a tree as large as the one it did, but whatever. It looks cool. It's a great shot for the TV commercials and all. Are you hearing this? Yeah, probably. We got to go back up the tree, kids. Quite a cool looking tree. I believe most of this movie's shot in Hawaii. When I say most, I just made that up as far as the percentage of it goes. But, you know, uh, if there's an exterior, it's probably Hawaii. This tree here, it kind of looks like it's man-made. They're not afraid of the Brachiosaurus. Realistically, if you're the adult in this situation, do you think it's better to stay by the vehicles where your last location was known to the people in charge? Because they did show up and you were gone. And now you've created more mayhem for yourself instead of being rescued. Lexi's able to relate to these dinosaurs because she, like them, vegetarian. Yeah, you're kind of out of work. What do you call blind dinosaur? Do you think you saw us? Yeah, hilarious kid. You've got a future in stand-up. Actually, he was in Radio Flyer, like around this time. I think slightly before this, and then about the last I saw of him, she was in this movie Angus, which was quite popular with girls because it had Dawson from Dawson's Creek in it, and I guess he was the bully. Never watched all of Angus. Of course, they have their little bit in Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Was it Lost World Jurassic Park? You know, put the Jurassic Park in there. Here's all the merch you guys can buy. We're going to put it literally in the movie. But hey, if you're going to actually show the merch in a movie, this makes sense. There would be a gift shop. Love that pillar right there. How it's done up to have the fossils. Spared no expense. Malcolm's okay, gave him a shot of morphine. Who better to get him through Jurassic Park than a dinosaur expert? A dinosaur expert who just today saw his first dinosaur. Oh, hey, here's a sob story so that you guys don't think I'm such a terrible person. So, yeah, when I started out, I had this flea circus, and all the kids say, oh, hey, look at the fleas, Mommy. The fleas are so awesome. And you see, I'm not such a bad guy. This is all a big mistake. But I'm going to drown my sorrows in this huge vat of ice cream that I'll be eating myself. Not totally sure that this scene needed to be in the movie. Like, this scene right here screams of deleted scene, doesn't it? I guess it takes the kids and Grant from being asleep, falling asleep and then waking up the next day without that kind of, now mostly extinct cut to black or fade right there. You don't see a lot of cutting to black and the iris in and out for the day to night transition. Well, night to day particularly transitions in movies anymore outside of independent film, where the filmmakers are just not crafty enough to have found better ways to convey the passing of a day. So cuts to black do annoy me. You think this is a flea circus? You never had control. I'm on Malcolm's side now. I'm gonna have some ice cream. Of course the ice cream's good. Spared no expense. And see, we didn't have an iris. There wasn't any kind of black, nothing. It's just now it's morning. It's morning, but we had to cut to something to switch back. And also, I guess in getting the emotion, the vibes right, it's like, okay, we're calming down, nice little talk with ice cream, and we're waking up. if you're cutting for the emotions, I guess you could say this scene's a keeper. It's not a terrible scene. It's just it adds to the length of the movie, doesn't it? It slows things down. Does the Brachiosaurus look good? That is the question. I mean, it looks okay. The eye looks nice. I feel that the mouth should be moving more. And then when it sneezes, it's CGI. So that creates that juxtaposition there. It's a bit jarring. You have a transition. You were looking at it physical, then it becomes CGI. There we go, CGI. Sneeze all over her. If it was CGI the whole time, there wouldn't be that jarring effect. But what do I know? I'm just some guy who lives in Kansas, has a degree in theater and film, world's most talented director, comedian, host, athlete, probably video gamer, and asshole. Oh my god, there's dinosaur eggs. Well, of course it's a dinosaur egg. The dinosaurs are breeding. Malcolm is a genius. Life will find a way. You know, if this movie was made today, Morgan Freeman would have been Malcolm. He would have been the explainer guy. You see, life will find a way. The first time I saw dinosaurs, I thought a stiff wind could knock 'em over. But eventually, the life will find a way. And yeah, it's turned a little bit into Matthew McConaughey there, but hey, what are you paying me for? Alright, alright, alright. You see, life will find a way. Malcolm, striking the pose from Thriller. Let's have a little talk about what we're going to do here. Nidri left us in trouble. We got to reboot the whole system. The only way to fix it is to shut down everything, and Samuel L. Jackson is wearing pink socks. We shut him down and reboot, everything's good. In theory. What about the Lysine Contingency? Yeah, very important in maintaining certain things about these dinosaurs here. And then it's like, it's sort of like so critical to the dinosaurs, but in the sequels, it's kind of like we have a couple of phrases here that no one's going to remember. So they have this amino acid that they strip them from, but they feed it to them, and that allows them control over the dinosaurs. Like if the dinosaurs escape, they're not going to be alive for long because they don't have this vital amino acid. But then it's like, what are they doing? Like in the Lost World, like how did that work out? Then somebody says, oh, it turns out that they had the lysine in the plants the whole time, so they were good. That's why they were able to survive without humans feeding them. Hold on to your butts. You gotta say your catchphrase twice in a movie to get America to really accept it. I don't think that's really the strongest form of writing, but I'm just telling you how the sheeple behave. We rebooted, we got something back online, it worked, kind of. Sam actually has quite a bit of lines in this movie for being in a huge movie that few people even recall him being in. Hey guys, I'm going to go fix some stuff, and you'll never see me again. Theoretically, the biggest star in the movie, by today's metrics, just checked out. Yeah, let's walk around in the middle of the savannah here, and that way we can see shit coming towards us that we can't outrun. Metasauruses. They're flocking this way. The kid actors here, not awful. What has happened in society that has made kid actors so freaking terrible today? Kid actors are straight up unbearable in most applications today. The Gallimimus here don't look that amazing. Like, there's some effort here to blur them, but I mean, because they are moving quick, but it doesn't quite ring true. Then we have the T-Rex snatch them. The T-Rex is in such sharper focus than the Gallimimus. Of course, the guys kind of want to see the T-Rex eat, even though they've had a close encounter with it. Something's went wrong. Mr. Arnold hadn't returned. Well, here it is. All major theme parks have delay. When they opened Disneyland in 1956, nothing worked. John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean break down, the pirates don't eat the tourists. You can't just stroll down the road by yourself. I'm going with you. Uh-oh, he's got bullets. And a map. So here's a guy trying to explain some stuff to a woman. Or as the SJWs call it, mansplaining. And then she just goes and says, "Oh, screw you, I'm a chick." Oh, you think you should be going because you're responsible for this? Let's talk about sexism here. I'm going. I would assume that she's a little more able-bodied. Who wears short shorts? Got the SPS 12 right there. The go-to shotgun of the action genre. This movie features a little bit more play with the stock than most. Like, it's kind of just in one position, usually like coiled up in a movie, but here they actually set it back in like he thinks he's going to use it like a rifle. See the shed from here. Let's make a run for it. Even though we know that the raptors have gotten out. They're hunting us. They're in the bushes, straight ahead. I can see them. I need you to run like hell. It's got the hunter's cap thing going there, up on one side. Never really understood that. She ends up jumping over the same tree twice. There it goes. There's one jump. She's swinging. And there's the same shot again. Thank you, editors. There could very well be more than one editor on this, I'm assuming, actually. Back in the day when you actually had to deal with film, and I'm not sure if this had a DI or not. It may not had. You end up with, a lot of stuff to sift through, especially if it's not cataloged correctly. Okay, woman, I'm giving you some instructions. You're going to have to believe me on this. I have a map. $10,000 volts. Don't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. Well, the lights are off. I don't think that throwing the stick against it will be the definitive marker of whether or not I can be electrocuted. Now, see, here we have Dr. Grant can't really handle the kids. He's kind of scaring them. Tim liked it. I have a feeling that Tim and Lex can probably wiggle through those wires. Grant, maybe not, but I'm thinking they could. Back to the power situation. I've got a map. There really should be something over there. Malcolm, being useful. Taking the reins, Malcolm. So, yeah, they are in haste here to climb the fence because they hear a roar. But I still don't see any reason why the kids couldn't have slipped through. I guess you need the kids in danger. The audience is going to feel for the kids. Adults getting killed can be funny or brutal, but no, kids in danger. But I'm a parent, and you don't even know until you're a parent. I like the way that camera is just brought in through the jib right there. See, the camera was able to go through the fence, but nope, the kids can't. Hammond here, he seems to know this stuff pretty well. Like, he's not directly reading it off some manual. Like, he's had some oversight on the setting up of his establishment. Just so happens we're turning on the power to the fence right when, maybe the kids are on it. But they had no way of knowing. Stuff's labeled with backlighting. Couldn't get a freaking Game Boy with backlighting, but you need backlighting on these labels someone's going to look at once. Would the shock make this kid fly? Not sure about that. Now, another thing to think about, if they go and shock you in the heart to try to put you back online, right? So would that actually cause him to need CPR. Really, like, he should be really jolting with energy. Maybe. You know, we got the puppet head here for the raptor. They do have raptor suits also in some of these scenes. Oh, hey, it's Arnold's arm. Oh, no. We're just going to assume Samuel L. Jackson died. Now she's got a limp. You know, like I was saying, it cuts corners to just show the feet of these creatures, but it looks cool, doesn't it? How long has this guy been staring down the raptors? So there's one raptor in there with her, in the least, that we know of. And then there's, what, 2 out here? Was there 3 total? Is that the story? See, I'm looking at you. I'm going to set my hat down here, and I'm going to observe instead of shooting. Now, common mistake, people. Clever girl. Yes, this guy says clever girl. But you know who says clever girl first in another hit movie? A guy who is way more famous, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Clever girl. So when you say clever girl, it's not necessarily a Jurassic Park reference. Yeah, we have the bush over there kind of obscuring the head chomp. We got to get our PG-13. Because it's a kids' movie. See these kids having so much fun in the movie? So much CPR in the older movies. Okay, we're just going to sit here and, you guys can have some food, whatever. He mentions his hair sticking up. I think it gradually falls back down to earth. Wow. They left all this food out? Run. I think she's telling herself to run there. They think they're out of the woods. You got to have that little scene, where everybody thinks everything's relaxed, everything's cool, and then boom, Queen Alien shows up. It's, yeah, when you're younger, you kind of think, oh, is the jello shaking like the water shakes when the T-Rex walks by? But it's really she's startled because there's the raptor. But these kids, they're not completely useless. Now they've experienced dinosaurs. They're learning a few tricks. I mean, that looks fine right there. I do like the raptor sounds. I've heard those somewhere else recently. I think they brought them back for Jurassic World, but you do hear them in other things too. We're safe unless they figure out how to open doors, which they do. The raptors look pretty good in this. It's you kind of pick your poison between the raptors in this and the raptors in Jurassic World, because those Jurassic World raptors look fairly phony in the texture department, but they have that articulation. So it's like you end up getting one or the other. Now this is a CGI raptor moment right here. Doesn't look bad. When you see the raptors up from, like, the head up over here looking over the counter, or of course just the feet, that's practical effect. How well can raptors hear? CGI raptors being startled have more of a floatiness to them, I guess, than when you see the suits and the the animatronic type versions. Of course, the textures are not spot on; they're a bit muddy, but I think it looks fine, really, on the CGI raptors. It is. Did she intend for this to look like a mirror for them? I don't know how she could have sized that up. Now, the logistics of this. Does the raptor that gets put in the freezer escape? There we go. Instead of showing it running, it's a little cheaper to go about this way. And then we have kind of a raptor slip. There, the head. It's easier to just show it in close-up, of course. You just stick with animatronic. That's a CGI one. That looks pretty nice. Locked. And I think that one stays locked in. Like, it really doesn't have any escape. And of course, there's the puppet. Puppet head leering at him. Okay, I've got a shotgun. Keep this in mind, children. I have a shotgun. We need to get on the computers. Would the chick who says she's a hacker be able to help with this? The doors don't lock, so it takes 2 adults to fight the raptor in the battle for door supremacy. Okay, Tim's just kind of freaking out, not being of help. Lex is like, oh, hey, it's a Unix system. I know this. So basically, it's like a movie studio lot, and you have to walk around to all these different buildings to physically access the files instead of just, simple interface like Windows. Yeah, I can see how this really caught on. Oh, look, that shotgun, it's just out of reach, and we have a kid over here, Tim, who is being not helpful at all with the computer, and could easily, I don't know, hand us the gun. Heaven forbid, use it to shoot the raptor. And then you end up with a casualty of the technological limitations of the day, where it's iffy what exactly occurs after this scene. Okay, we got the doors locked. But you name it, we've got it. Yeah, overjoyed. Calling to let you know that the phones work. Call the mainland, tell them to send the damn choppers. Okay, it's going to get through the glass. We don't get to see what's happening. Gunshots, yelling. There's shots in the glass. They drop the gun. Did it jam? It looks like it jammed. But they have time to set up this ladder and climb into the roof. A raptor gets in. So did they not shoot it? Yeah, I'm not sure. We see this like DNA sequence kind of stuff, like Gattaca written on the face of the raptor, though the light shouldn't be shining down from it because there's no lights up in the vents, up in the ceiling there. So it was like their way of trying to be clever, like, oh hey, look, it's DNA sequencing kind of language put on the raptor, but in reality it shouldn't have been on him. It certainly wasn't shining down through the grates, so it looks like there's one raptor in pursuit right now. We can make our way down. This scaffolding is quite handy. Jump on the bones, kids. These are actually casts, but there is, until recently, well, okay, so they were like in the middle of setting up the display, I guess. There's a Museum of World Treasures in downtown Wichita, Kansas. The only museum that would let you touch an actual T-Rex fossilized skull. Like, I've touched it, touched the teeth, all that stuff. It was the real McCoy, not a cast. But then they set it up on the display, and it's way up in the air. You can't touch it now. It's behind the ropes, whatever. But typically, when you see this stuff on display, it's actually a casting of it, and not the actual fossils. So that, of course, cast. Okay, so there's this one. It's out from behind the renovations. So they got one there. Okay, so they're down to 2 raptors. Is that it? In comes the T-Rex that nobody noticed. How great is the timing of the T-Rex? Nah, I'm not interested in humans, but I do like eating these things. I want to hunt. Took care of one raptor really quick. After careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. So have I. And time to chomp this raptor. Or throw him. When dinosaurs ruled the earth. Great timing for our trailer shot. Engine, that's his, it says Engine Construction, so that's his company behind all this, yep. Gotta take the chopper and get out of here. Sad to see the dream go, but I guess this is the way it's meant to be. We played God, and now this has happened. Come on. Come on. I think he had good intentions. He's not a bad guy. He had an ice cream scene. Then, of course, we got this Jurassic Park theme here that you got to kind of put words to. No, it isn't that far. No, it isn't that far. No, it isn't really that far. It's kind of the way I interpreted it. Of course, Grant has established himself now as the father figure. He was skittish about the kids, and now Ellie sees that he is a suitable life mate. Only that ends up nixed, because the next time we see the two of them, she's with some other guy and has a kid, and he's kind of like the main action man for Jurassic Park 3. Seeing the birds, and that's his way of thinking of, that's the new dinosaur there for him. So, parting shot of the helicopter leaving. Looks nice. Real helicopters. Directed by Steven Spielberg, and of course, we're rolling the credits here. We've got the screenplay based on the book by Michael Crichton. I think that we have some discrepancies in that. It's like kind of like a combination of Jurassic Park 3 and The Lost World are the way the book started for Jurassic Park. And there's more technical data kind of stuff implemented. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Malcolm gets killed, and then it's like, well, how weird is it that he has to be around for the sequel? So they make a sequel movie, and then they have to put out a sequel book and come up with some excuse there. So there you have it, 1993 mega hit Jurassic Park. Does a movie like Jurassic World tarnish the legacy of Jurassic Park? Because it's like, when kids go to the movie theater, were they as excited to finally see the dinosaurs that look real? And in their version of that is seen as Jurassic World, or did they see Jurassic Park enough that now it wasn't that terribly exciting? In some way, like the figures from the movie suggest that it was exciting for them. They're willing to pay the trumped up IMAX 3D, all that kind of stuff. Hell, probably watch it in D-Box, or who knows, for, ticket, got to raise the prices somehow. But is it really that awe-inspiring? Because, like, every year now we have so many tentpole movies, and as you age, you see more and more of them. It gets to the point that no amount of spectacle can live up to the way spectacle was back in the day. There was a lot less entertainment to view back then. So when you had a major movie, it was the major movie of the summer. And still, with the prices of movies being so expensive, people are only willing to go to the movies for what they believe will be the movie of the summer. And that's the way most people see movies. Of course, we have a small army working on this one. Larger armies working on movies today, and then people even sit through the credits because they think there's going to be some ending scene and all that stuff, but that wasn't necessarily the norm here. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary on Jurassic Park. Might do another one of these, thinking about doing Batman. Who knows? If you did sit through all of this, let me know what you'd like to hear next, and if you're okay with me talking by myself, because, it's just easier for me to schedule. Bye-bye.